Okay, let's dive right in. We absolutely have to start with the big news: Wagner Moura winning Best Actor at Cannes this year for O Agente Secreto.
Yeah, huge news, a really major moment for him. But what's striking, I think, is how the coverage and our sources, too, are framing it. It's not like, wow, look at this sudden arrival.
Exactly. It's being seen much more as the logical result of decades of really disciplined choices he's made throughout his career. Sometimes quite tough choices, professionally speaking.
That's the thread we're pulling on today, isn't it? This idea that it's not about him hitting some new peak out of nowhere.
Right. It's about this lifetime of work built on, well, pretty specific artistic principles. And now, arguably, the world's most prestigious film festival gives it this massive validation.
Our source material really hammers this home, that Moura's career choices consistently prioritized meaningful storytelling over celebrity. That's the quote that jumps out.
Yeah, and the Cannes win then becomes this recognition of the consistency and integrity of that path he's taken.
It kind of suggests that if you stick to substance, eventually the spotlight, well, it finds you.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Our mission for this deep dive is to trace that consistent line starting from his roots in Brazilian theater right through to becoming this global artistic figure to really get why Cannes feels like a confirmation, not some kind of career turning point.
Makes sense. Where do we start? With the film itself.
Let's start right there with the award winner, O Agente Secreto, directed by Kleber Mendonça Filho, a really respected Brazilian filmmaker, often quite political in his work.
And the film itself, it's immediately hitting on some heavy themes, right? A political thriller, surveillance, state control, deep moral dilemmas set in a near-future Brazil.
High-stakes stuff, definitely. But our sources emphasize that Moura's performance itself wasn't about high-stakes acting. The Cannes jury actually called it profoundly human and quietly devastating.
Quietly devastating. I like that. What did they mean by that exactly? In an age where, big, loud performances often grab the awards.
Well, what convinced the jury, it seems, was this incredible restraint he showed.
Restraint. Okay.
Yeah, his craft actively steers clear of anything theatrical, avoids spelling things out for the audience. The analysis we looked at points out how he shows this turmoil that's completely internal, just simmering.
So you feel it rather than see it overtly performed.
Exactly. His character's caught in this web of institutional control, personal betrayal, and you see it all, apparently, just through the eyes, the posture, the hesitation, little things.
So it's about conveying everything without needing grand gestures. Is that something from his theater background, do you think, or more film-focused?
Probably a bit of both, but the roots seem to be in theater. The source analysis suggests this measured intensity isn't new. It's him perfecting something he's always had.
Like a skill set honed over time.
Precisely. The ability to just hold that psychological tension for like 2 hours without resorting to big dramatic moments. It's a choice, right?
Yeah.
Prioritizing emotional truth over maybe showing off technique.
It really underscores that the deepest struggles are often the quietest ones.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How much more powerful communication or acting can be when you focus on listening, on the internal stuff rather than just spectacle. That feels like a lesson that goes way beyond movies.
And that kind of quiet discipline, it seems it started really early for him. Moura was born in Salvador de Bahia back in 1976. His first steps artistically weren't in film, but on the experimental theater stage.
That theater foundation feels key, doesn't it? The kind of discipline, the intellectual rigor needed there must have shaped his whole approach before he even saw a film camera.
Oh, absolutely. And his early film work, particularly collaborating with respected Brazilian directors like Walter Salles, that was crucial too.
Right. Salles. Wasn't his first major film role in Salles' Abril Despedaçado back in 2001, based on an Ismael Kadari novel?
That's the one. A really significant early appearance.
Tell us a bit about that role. Did it already hint at the kinds of complex characters he'd gravitate towards later?
You could say that. It was sort of a perfect early test case. He played this young guy completely torn between rigid family traditions and this desperate yearning for freedom.
Classic conflict.
Yeah. And even back then, critics noted his remarkable emotional precision. That's a phrase that comes up. This early work, mostly seen within Brazil, quickly established him as a serious actor, someone drawn to roles wrestling with big social, political, or psychological issues.
And here's a key point our sources highlight. Even then, he was deliberately not chasing mainstream fame.
Exactly right. He was building his name on fully becoming these characters, choosing substance, choosing complexity.
Yeah.
Which almost by definition keeps you away from the giant Hollywood spotlight, at least initially.
So that groundwork, that foundation is why Khan feels like such a validation now. He built his career on integrity, and now the global stage is recognizing that structure.
That foundation of psychological depth was definitely laid. But his principles were about to get a major stress test, nationally anyway, with a film that just exploded in Brazil, Tropa de Elite, 2007.
Tropa de Elite. Huge. Directed by Jose Padilha. Moura played Captain Nascimento, right? Head of BOPE, the special police unit in Rio.
That's him, navigating this incredibly violent, morally gray world. The film was a massive hit, artistically recognized too. It won the Golden Bear at Berlin in 2008. Big deal.
But that success came tangled up with this huge, really divisive political storm in Brazil, didn't it?
Oh, it was explosive. Absolutely explosive. The film's raw depiction of police brutality, corruption, it ignited this national debate. And it wasn't simple.
How so?
Well, some saw it as bravely exposing systemic problems, but others fiercely criticized it. Moura's character Nascimento was seen by some, controversially, as a kind of symbol of authoritarianism. The pressure on him to weigh in to become the face of this debate must have been intense.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So how did he handle that public pressure?
What's fascinating is he stayed pretty distant from the media frenzy. Our sources really emphasize that he deliberately chose not to try and steer how people interpreted the film.
He didn't leverage the controversy for more fame.
Not at all. He let the work speak for itself, basically.
Yeah.
Even when what it was saying made people deeply uncomfortable.
That's unusual. Especially when an actor's profile just blows up like that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was the sequel.
Right. Tropa de Elite 2. He came back as Nascimento. And that film became the highest-grossing Brazilian film ever. But crucially, the sequel took a much wider, more critical view.
It broadened the scope.
Yeah, it wasn't just about the BOPE unit anymore. It exposed the systemic rot across the justice system, politics, the whole machinery enabling corruption. It was this politically charged hit that really cemented him as an actor willing to tackle, the uncomfortable truths about society.
So that domestic success really set the stage for him to go global. But even when the projects got bigger, that core principle, commitment, substance, it stayed the same.
Seems so. His first big international role was Elysium in 2013. But the real game changer, the moment he became a household name globally, was playing Pablo Escobar in Netflix's Narcos, starting in 2015.
Narcos, yeah, that was a phenomenon.
A total phenomenon. And it could easily have just reset his whole career path. But the sheer dedication he poured into that role tells you everything about his approach. It wasn't just performing, it was transformation.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. He learned Spanish from scratch, reportedly in just a few months, gained over 20 kilograms. He completely immersed himself in Escobar's, frankly, terrifying psychology. That's beyond just acting. It's like this deep artistic absorption.
It was definitely a defining role. Got him Golden Globe nominations, made him instantly recognizable everywhere. This is usually the point where an actor thinks, okay, franchises, big paychecks, here I come. So what happened after Escobar? Did he cash in?
He did the absolute opposite. Took a path that professionally might even seem risky. He flat out refused to let Escobar define him.
Really?
Yeah, the source analysis is really clear on this. He consciously decided not to chase those big commercial crime roles, the kind of stuff Hollywood would have been throwing at him after Narcos. Instead, he went straight back to complex, character-driven, often politically charged stories.
Wow. Okay, that decision right after Narcos feels like the strongest proof for this whole integrity over popularity idea we've been talking about. What kind of roles did he take instead?
Well, look at his immediate follow-ups. He played a complex Cuban intelligence agent in WASP Network in 2019, then a UN diplomat, Sergio Vieira de Mello, and Sergio in 2020.
Right, both based on real, complicated figures and events.
Exactly. Roles focused on tricky international politics, real-life history, needing multilingual skills, deep background understanding. He used his new global clout to tell stories with weight, not just, big commercial entertainment.
So this path, choosing complexity, choosing conscience, really, over the easy commercial wins, it kind of culminates with him stepping behind the camera, doesn't it? Directing Mariella in 2021.
Absolutely. That move felt like it just cemented his identity as this artist-activist figure, using his platform for historical, political engagement. Mariella, it's a biopic about Carlos Mariella, a very controversial Brazilian Marxist revolutionary.
And just getting that film made was a political statement in itself, given the climate in Brazil at the time, wasn't it?
Hugely fraught with tension. Reports indicate the film faced serious delays, even censorship issues under Brazil's previous far-right government. Its very existence became an act of artistic defiance.
Despite all that, it got good reviews, right?
Strong critical praise, yeah, which just reinforced his image as an artist who stands by his convictions, no matter the political or commercial cost.
So it all circles back then to that core idea. He's fundamentally a storyteller, not a star. That seems to be the consistent thread.
He chooses stories that wrestle with power, ethics, human rights. He avoids the superficial stuff. He seems to operate from principle rather than popularity, as one source puts it.
He's incredibly selective.
Fiercely selective, and that selectivity explains everything. His choices show this deep concern for the world around him. And the irony, maybe, is that by not chasing the spotlight, by focusing on integrity, he's ended up right at the peak of global artistic recognition anyway.
Yeah, the spotlight found him because the story was right, not because he courted it.
Exactly. The Cannes win for Agente Secreto. It feels like the international film world finally catching up to the story he's been writing with his career for the past 20-plus years. It's recognition for the path already taken.
It's a fascinating trajectory. When you look back at it all, what really stands out to you? For me, it's something we touched on earlier, this idea reinforced by the sources that he listens before he speaks. You see it in interviews, but also, crucially, in his performances.
The quietness again.
Yeah, that quiet, almost restrained approach. That's what gives him that power on screen, doesn't it? That ability to convey so much internal depth without big, showy moments.
He really mastered holding back, letting the character's inner life just seep out subtly.
It makes you wonder, how could that idea restraint, deep listening, letting silence have weight apply beyond acting, maybe in leadership or even just in difficult conversations we have every day?
That's a powerful thought. Prioritizing substance over just noise.
Definitely something worth mulling over on your own.